Good evening, MC Clubbers. It is Wednesday, the 2nd of September 2020, and it's results evening. Again, it comes so quickly, doesn't it? So tonight we're going to be doing technical challenge results Boca, Westfall challenge results. We're then going to have a look at a couple of videos for the next technical challenge, slow shutter speed, and then we're going to end off with some salon results because those other ones went down so well, and so I found some others. And Bertie, thank you so much for sending all that through. So just one thing. Wait, I could press page down. No, wait, page down. No, there is one more. There we go. Please remember to pay your fees if you can, as soon as you can. We don't want to lose any members. If there's a problem, please let me know. If you can pay over a couple of months, we're quite willing to do that. We really don't want to lose anyone. Thank you very much. Over to the results. So on to technical challenge results. I was the judge for this Boca, and thank you, Bertie, who judged my photos. Okay, let's get going. Oh, this is page down. There we go. One star. Bird Boca, 10 gold, Denise Harvey. Lovely sharp bird for this TC Boca challenge. I want to see more of the background though. It looks very interesting on the right. However, it also has picked up a large amount of noise and artifacts. So just here. So just for the Boca challenge, I just want to see more Boca. A lovely bird. Dim Sum, 12 gold, Michaela Cosman. Lovely idea here, well done. The lighting on the bowl is super. I do feel that the hand dominates just a little too much. Try cropping the hand a little bit, and then the emphasis will be on the bowl and the Boca. But lovely idea, lovely story, well done. Pretty in Pink, 8 silver. Nice bright flowers, good sharpness. However, I feel there is just not enough Boca for a Boca challenge. Release the Fairies, 8 silver. Great night lights image, lovely colours, but not enough Boca here for this Boca challenge. White fronted Bee Eater, 8 silver. Lovely creamy Boca here, but unfortunately the bird is soft. The focus appears to be on the branch. Well done for capturing this bird. I wish I had. Three star. Bot Gardens Boca, 12 gold, Tracy Rhodes. Lovely. The plant is crisp and sharp, although leaning slightly to the right, or is that my OCD? The subtle green Boca and a few sparkles in the Boca are beautiful here. Cactus Boca, 10 gold, Liesel Cupidthwaite. Nice attempt here. The water drop is lovely and sharp. The Boca in the top right and just below the bubble is great. That dark splotch on the bottom middle unfortunately ruins it for me. It just jumps out at me too much. Perhaps you could have cropped it, but I'm not sure of the quality of the photo then. But beautiful reflections there. Catching Balls of Light, 10 gold, Eric Bosman. Nice fun image this. I can't help but want the fingers to actually touch the Boca ball though. The green circles are a little bright and could be toned down. Nice imagination here, guys. Well done. Colourful Fragrance, 8 silver. Such an almost. If the coloured circles had been toned down drastically to fit in with the gentleness of the lily, the story would be more convincing. Icy Boca, 10 gold, Liesel Cupidthwaite. Gorgeous winter browns here, and I love the way the Boca looks like it is fanning out to the right, following the path of the leaves. A pity that all the leaves in front are not in focus. My eye does jump around a bit looking for more ice in focus. It's also a bit tightly cropped. Carrigan, 5 silver. Nice photo of a pretty girl, however the bokeh barely makes the story, and so you have been marked down. I want to see bokeh. Mulberry flowers, 6 bronze. Nice bokeh here. Unfortunately, the leaf and plant in the foreground are not sharp enough. I see your shutter speed is 1/60th. You are really going to battle to get anything handheld in focus at that speed. 60, 1/60th. I hope that makes sense. Strelitzia, 6 bronze. Nice try here. If the Strelitzia was further away from the background, it would have created a smoother bokeh effect. Right now, it's just a bit busy. Again, the shutter speed here is 80, which is too slow for handheld stuff, unless you are very, very steady. The Strelitzia is also soft. Through the Pages, 11 gold, Eric Bosman. Great story here. It's a pity the bokeh is these colours. Would have preferred to see colours that seem to correspond with the book, e.g. pink. If you look at the cover, it's just a little bit garish to the eye. Full star. Egret, 9 silver. Bokeh in a natural scene can be hard. The bokeh in the background is great, but the actual whole image is just so very busy. The rim lighting on the bird is good, with a little bit highlighted out in the white. A bit of noise coming in. I don't mind that in the background, but it's quite evident on the white bird. Sparkling Smile, 10 gold, Heidi Taylor. Lovely sparkly bokeh here. I don't mind that it is slightly blown out. To me, it adds to the story of the sea. And lovely light on the hair. You do need to process here a bit, and some light into the face and eyes, and you would have a super image. Tears of Joy When the Rain Fell. 13 Merrick, Nola Maring. Beautiful. Such sharpness on the plant all the way through. You can see a reflection in almost every single water drop, and super bokeh. Really well done here. This water's not only for you. 11 gold, Nola Maring. Great story, lovely bokeh, lovely colours here. I think you can crop it a bit top and right, and the story gets stronger. So just a little bit here and here. I don't mind the chain. I mean, that's what it looks like. If you crop it, Nola, you'll see that the story is a whole lot stronger. Winning the Race, 10 gold, Heidi Taylor. Lovely bokeh here, the lines and the sparkles. However, the details in the faces are completely lost, and a bit of white is blown out. Lovely composition. I don't mind the hidden bird either. This is a 10 gold with a warning. I know we said we must never say things like that, but it's a bokeh challenge, so I've marked you on the bokeh, and I don't mind the composition of the birds. You maybe should have actually just highlighted everything out completely and done a high key maybe, but yeah, I'm just guessing here, making suggestions. But yeah, well done. Five star. After the Rain, 12 gold, Ronel van den Heever. Very nice. The shapes of the greens are similar. The shapes of the greens in the background are similar to the shapes of the petals. It's very hard to plan. Plant is sharp and bright, standing out nicely from quite a dominant background. Aloe bokeh, 10 gold, Rob Hart. Super gold bokeh here. There is a focus fall off on the aloe, unfortunately. The top is not in focus, but again, I love the way the bokeh shapes mirror the plant in the front. It's just a little too centered. Either center it completely or a little bit more to the left for 2/3. This kind of sort of is weird, and my OCD goes all weird. But lovely, lovely. But look at that bokeh in the background. Beautiful. Ella greets the day, 10 gold maxi holder. Super image, but it appears to be a bit pixelated. Not enough red flowers in focus for my eye, jumps around a bit, but lovely sparkly bokeh. Art of bokeh, 11 gold, Bertie Price. Super sharpness here and great circles of bokeh. However, my eye is drawn to the brightest circle on the left. This could have been toned down a bit in processing. Would rather see the bud first and not the sparkly bokehs. Just taking a sip of coffee. I hope you're all drinking your coffee, eating your popcorn. Bohemia bokeh, 11 gold, Rob Hart. Lovely strong colours here. The plant appears a little oversaturated, the reds that is. Bubble bokeh, 11 gold, Bertie Price. Nice studio shot here. Love the reflections from the lights in the glass. However, there's a dark black square in the middle of the glass that detracts badly. Once I saw it, I couldn't unsee it and I wanted to rub it away. Okay, butterfly bokeh, 11 gold, Des van Tonder. Lovely earthy colours captured, background very well handled. Chain art, 10 gold, Bertie Price. Lovely shallow depth of field here and more sparkly bokeh. I think you can crop out the bottom right thing and still have a strong photo. This thingy here, if you just crop it there, I think it's actually a stronger photo. Gooseberry, 13 merit, maxi holder. Gorgeous. The sparkles, the rim lighting, the lovely delicate detail, the warm colours which bring out the green of the gooseberry. Beautiful. Honeysuckle bokeh, 10 gold, Rob Hart. Nice colours here, good bokeh, good shot. Little Salty, 13 merit, Ronald van den Heefer. Wow, super image, such lovely sharpness, and bokeh in the background and the foreground. Make this stand out so much, really well done. Question mark, minimalism maybe? Lunchtime Delight, 10 gold, Ronald van den Heefer. Nice story here, and the sparkling bokehs in a natural setting. Good detail in the fur and on the face. A little bit too much emphasis on the monkey, but it's still a great photo. Play Strumting Soft. Okay. 11 gold, Roger Vanna. Lovely shallow depth of field used. The reflection on the guitar perhaps a little too bright and dominates a little too much, but a very unusual shot. Pondering, 11 gold, Des van Tonder. Clever picture here with the bird looking down at the bokeh in the image. I've lost my place. Wait, look at the image. Oh, consider cropping away the wasted negative space. Well, do you know how I feel about negative space? Love negative space. But I'm not criticizing judges. I would never criticize a judge. Reaching, 12 gold, Des van Tonder. Great exposure, great colours captured, well done. Okay, so by the time Bertie did the slideshow, I hadn't decided on the winners because I've been faffing about. And so the senior winner is Maxi Holder. Yay, Gooseberry. Well done, Maxi. Love, love, love this image. And junior winner, Michaela Cosman, Dim Sum. Really well done. Just love, love the story here. Really well done. Okay, so back to the end. La 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 la. La la la, where's the end? That's the end. We now go on to Westfall Challenge results. Okay, so on to Westfall Challenge results. Jake was the judge and he has just submitted some comments which I'll read out now. Good evening everybody. Before we get into minimalism, I would just make a few general comments. While they are based on this month's images, they are possibly equally relevant everywhere else and not just to minimalism. In addition, I recognize that photography is an art form in which we may each do things in our own way. My way of doing things, including camera setting, is not right, and other people's way of doing things is not wrong. I'm just responding to things which I have seen quite often and so perhaps bear thinking about. First of these is a number of images which I see which are soft. Usually equals not quite properly in focus for a static subject. There are possibly two common contributory factors. The first is that people often use a very wide aperture, f.2 or f.4. This is probably the widest that their lens offers, but it is common that most affordable lenses are a bit soft when wide open, are usually better a couple of stops down, say f5 or f8. In addition, the wider aperture, the shallower the depth of field. This applies to all lenses that I'm aware of. Be aware though that stopping a lens right down can bring in diffraction issues, but that can wait for another time. However, many of the setup images sent in for the minimalism challenges are shot in very low light, perhaps even at night with the surrounds being dark. Obviously, this makes the wide open aperture attractive, but it's a catch-22 because a smaller aperture will require high ISO or a longer exposure time. The exposure triangle is not a friendly place to be. The high ISO brings the risk of noise, and the long exposure increases risk of camera shake. Your tripod is the way out of this. Pick a suitable aperture, ISO level, and go for the long exposure. You can cut back on camera shake by one of the several methods. Use a remote release or a release timer, or use mirror lockup. This will allow you to put one foot on the tripod on each corner of the exposure triangle and let it know who is in charge of things. Finally, a comment on post-processing. There's always a number of ways to do things. While a clear vision at the outset is good, my advice is still to prepare several versions of each image and then to line them up and select your favorite. Work your image in the computer just as you work a scene in the field. In general, I have always tried to understand what the author found or was trying to express, and I've tried to judge it objectively without letting my own subjective dislikes cloud the issue. I have a particular set of ideas of what makes a good minimalistic image, but others will have theirs. Whatever the case, I hope that I have succeeded in being fair. Okay, so here we go. Page down. Aha, the judges thing. Oh dear, down. 1 star. Fighting Fires, 8 silver. This image is perhaps a bit too minimal. It would have been good to see more of the fire since this is an important part of the title. Maybe a portrait format crop showing the scene down to a ground level. You are to be commended for your capture of the plane. It is sharp, but some movement is implied by the blurred prop. Well done on that. Let There Be Light, 9 silver. A nice crisp clean image with good exposure and processing. The Dutch angle composition is effective, but the subject is too big in the frame for this challenge. Three star. Black Velvet Pearl, 10 gold, Diesel Cooperthwaite. This is well set up, but would have scored higher if the pearl was a bit sharper. Since you're working in a dark space, do your focusing first, then turn the light off. A narrow aperture, say f5.6 or 8, would have given you more depth of field. Since you can have one more try for this challenge, try it also with oblique lighting, as this would add depth and also tame the rather overbright reflections. Carnation, 8 silver. This had the makings of a really nice image, but the white carnation is lost against the white background. A dark back sheet would show off the white flower. If you were after a high key style, then perhaps a pale yellow or green backdrop would help. The outer focus stem is a little distracting since it is stronger to the eye than the flower. It might have been better if it were shorter or if angled down to a corner. Clever Clover Marketing, 10 gold, Jake Ellison. Thinking out the box with this one. Love the lighting glow on the bottle. The label draws a bit too much attention though. would have liked to have seen this with no label, possibly with a splash of milk or standing in a puddle of milk. Lonely Puddle, 9 silver. This meets the minimalistic theme, but a touch more processing would have lifted it to a gold. Minimal electricity, 10 gold. These will keep it weight. This is a well-spotted minimalistic image, but it could have been raised to a higher score by just a few changes. The first is sharpness. It is not fully sharp despite the good aperture setting you used. Maybe the zoom crop set it off a bit, but I cannot absolutely determine that. The second comment relates to composition. If the lower wire went through the bottom right corner and the top wire went through the top left corner, you would have had a more dynamic composition with just these same few elements. Misty Morning, 11 gold, Eric Bosman. I really like the way that the fence leads the eye along to the tree. There is enough fence to balance the large bulk of the tree. While the image is good as presented, the composition allowed me to have fun with different versions, which may or may not be better according to the taste. Sorry, at the time of making the video, I don't have any of those. I have fiber people here at the flats and electricians, and they've been drilling like mad, and they've given me lunchtime to do this video with no drilling vibrating up the walls. And now I don't know where I am. The moral of the story to everyone is not only work the scene out on the ground, but also in processing. South Coast Fisherman, 8 silver. The processing of this image is good, but the composition lets it down. The fisherman is too close to the edge of the frame, and so is almost out of the scene. He is facing and pointing to nothing, but my eye keeps going to the left to see what is there, only to find empty space. Then it goes back again, and so on. It's a pity that there's not a ship or seagull or something to balance the scene. Turning the page, 4 star. Don't judge my flying technique, 8 silver. Oh, no, wait, 4, car guard. No score, sorry, no 1. This image is not suited to the theme, but is good enough to score better in a different genre. Don't judge my flying technique, 8 silver. The image is something of a technical tour de force, as I feel that this is greatly altered from its original state. However, while it does meet the minimalist criteria to some extent, the extreme contrast ends up being jarring. The feeling is that soft toning and perhaps a slight size reduction for the bird would have scored higher. Rock climbing leaf, 12 gold, Terry Byrne. A great minimalist shot with excellent sharpness and exposure. The thin stem is a strong but unobtrusive element which adds some dynamism to the image and balances the very strong frog. I do hope that your black backdrop is held by a thin border. Yes, it is. Nicely done. Mushrooms in the Dark, 11 gold, Terry Byrne. It is said that strong and dominating image elements should either be single or a threesome. However, the 2 mushrooms are effectively one object and so are okay. The important part in front is tack sharp, so the OOF back of the top mushroom is not a distraction. Out of focus. Sharper stems would, however, have been better. I can see that you worked to darken the background, and while the debris around the stem is acceptable, I feel that you might have taken out more of the background than the rest of the image. As with the frog picture, I hope that there is a border. Yes, there is. Sacred Ibis, 6 bronze. While the idea was good, the image is so soft and full of noise that it must score down. Squiggle Egg, 9 silver. At first a bit overwhelmed by this image, but then after a while decided the author had actually done quite well. The use of just two elements, the egg and the squiggle, has produced a pleasing result, which meets the minimalism criteria. I think I need more coffee. Unfortunately, it is a little soft overall, and that does not match the boldness of the line. A pity, but well done nonetheless. 5-star. Heading for the far bank, 10 gold. Had a silver there. 10 gold maxi holder. A great example of minimalism presented here. Composition is perfect, but the focus on the bird is a little too soft. Jar of colour, 9 silver. This image is almost too complex to be minimalist. It is strong, striking, and beautifully presented, but it is somehow, in my view, not quite right. However, others may differ, and it may later come into its own. I think that a horizontal flip would help a lot, and have made one for consideration. Lonely, 12 gold, Bertie Price. The oval ripple is to die for and just makes this image. The bird is well placed and the wide frame matches the content perfectly. Printed big for a real winner. Minimal dose, no score. This does not work well as a minimalist image and would be better in an abstract setting. Minimal peg, 8 silver. This was a good attempt with good composition. Unfortunately, most of the image is very soft, with only the right hand end of the wire being sharp. The outer focus wire on the left does not matter much, as the minimalism theme does allow for softness. However, the peg, as the primary element of the image, should have been sharper. The halos on the wire and the mottled background are distracting. Spirit of the Sand People, 9 silver. Love the composition and colour presented here. The focus on the foreground and background has been well handled, but the focus on the animal is too soft. The end. Okay, so I stopped quickly and I got Bertie to quickly email me these photos. And so here we are. This is the one one of Eric's photos, where Jake said, don't lie. It says, sorry, I'm shouting at the screen, so you mustn't lie. There's more photos. So just a little bit more processing. Okay, this is the other one where Jake wanted them to go from left to right, the corners. Move the mouse, sorry. And these are just different versions. Oh, that's quite misty. And then this was the photo that was just flipped. Thank you, Bertie. Sorry, Jake. We got to them eventually. So what we're going to do now is just show some videos for panning. This is panning, just a little training, panning, slow shutter speed. So here we go. Full screen. It's about 5 minutes.
Okay, we're quickly going to talk about panning. If you've heard this term before, you might have seen photos of cars or motorbikes like the ones about to go past, where the car or motorbike is pin sharp and in focus, but the background is blurred. Really gives a good effect of a speeding car or speeding bike. Now, I'm going to show you quickly how to do that, and it all depends on how fast the actual object's moving. Now, the cars we're seeing here on this road, it's quite a fast road, so the cars are moving quite fast. So you actually need a fairly fastish shutter speed to get it right. But before we take any shots, I just want to quickly explain the 3 differences of taking shots like this. First way, if I was to set a super fast shutter speed and get a car just coming straight past, which we're going to wait for this one to come past, I'll take a shot at 5/100th of a second, and I'm just going to point the camera straight over the road, and as the car goes past, I'm going to take a photo. I'm actually on 800th of a second, so here we go. Now, you'll see on this photo that even though the car is moving quite fast, and I've got a shutter speed of 800th of a second, the car is actually stopped dead in the photo. So the car is pin sharp, no blurriness, the background is completely pin sharp as well. So that hasn't given any emphasis of speed at all. Now the second way to do that, when we get another car coming past, is actually to set a slower shutter speed of I'm going to use 160th of a second, not move the camera and just point forward. Now for that shot, you'll see on this one, the background, because I was on 160th of a second and not moving the camera, is completely sharp. But the car itself shot through the screen and it's gone blurred. So that's one way of emphasising, say, something like a dangerous road. The background's nice and clear in the background, but the car is zooming into the shot. Now that would show, if you wanted to emphasise a dangerous crossing for children outside of school, that kind of thing, that kind of photo would be perfect. Now to show and emphasise a fast moving car with the background blurred, like a sports car or a sports bike, anything like that, we're going to use 200th of a second and pan with the car as it goes past. So let's try that. Now on that shot, you're seeing that the car is actually quite a lot more in focus and sharp, and the background has gone very, very blurred. And for that, like I said, that kind of shot would illustrate the speed of a car, if you're trying to emphasise that the speed is a good thing for a car. So really, those are the three ways of actually doing a panning shot. If the cars or anything were going slower, let's just take another shot while this car goes past. So you move with the car, as soon as it goes into the middle, you take the photo. Let's try it again, smaller car this time. As it goes past, take the shot. Now that one's absolutely spot on. Because it's got writing on the side, we can see the writing clearly, the background's blurred, but the car is absolutely in focus. So you have to, when you're doing panning shots, you have to work out how fast the objects are moving. If something's moving fairly slowly and you're using 200th of a second, it's going to be too fast and you're not going to get any panning sensation at all. For that kind of speed, if something's going fairly slowly, you're going to need something like a 30th of a second or even as low as a 15th, and hold it steady and follow and track the subject. If something's going very fast and you use a super slow shutter speed, you're going to get way too much movement. So the idea is just to practice, and if an object like this fast road here, you're shooting something like this, use a faster shutter speed and pan until you get the car in focus and the background blurred, and just find that ultimate shutter speed for what you're shooting. So it's just about practicing. And again, if you're doing someone on a push bike going along slowly, use a 30th of a second or a 60th and just take the shot, and hopefully you'll get the background blurred there as well. But really, just get out and practice.
So yeah, I can agree with what he says. It's just practice, 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 and it's not just about the shutter speed in the camera. It's about the agility of your back and how fast your back can move. When we go to Daisy's and we do all those motorbikes that you often see coming up in monthlies, I've always shot on a 100, and I found you can get pretty good shots on that 100. 80, you can get 60. I've yet to get a really good sharp motorbike shot with the blurry on the 60. 60's hard. It's really hard, and he's going 30. Well, if you can get one on 30, like, congratulations. But 30 handheld is very hard. Okay, so here we go. 5 ways to get creative with slow shutter speeds. Another 5-minute video.
This week, I'll show you 5 creative things you can do with slow shutter speeds. You'll need a tripod, an ND filter, and a shutter release cable, unless you go out at dusk or at night where there'll be a lot less light about. Then you won't need the ND filter, but you'll still need the tripod and probably the shutter release. If you don't have the shutter release, you can always use the self-timer mode on your camera. If you need any of these, I've put some links in the descriptions to the ones that I've used in this video. When you shoot with extremely slow shutter speeds, you can start blurring out the clouds, and this will really give the sense of movement in your shot. You just need to be aware of which way the clouds are going. What generally works best is when they're coming towards you or moving away from you, instead of going from one side of the frame to the other. When it gets dark enough for boats, cars or trains to turn their lights on, it's normally dark enough for you to be able to get a much slower shutter speed, so you can get these lights streaking through the shot, again giving that sense of movement. Then all you need to do is work out how to use these lines to lead in or through your shot in an interesting way. Make sure they don't shine directly into the lens, or if they do, make sure you control the aperture enough so they don't overexpose your shot. As you practice with this technique, you'll become more and more creative in how you use them. I tend to use these light streaks as leading lines in or through my shots. When shooting water moving through your frame, you can get it looking very crisp and clear, but if you have an ND filter, or if you're shooting at dusk or into the night, you can start to blur out the water. When the shutter speed is too long, the water will become very misty and you'll lose this sense of movement. So what you need to do with this one is experiment with your shutter speeds until you get the sense of movement that you want. There is a sweet spot, and it also comes down to timing. If you're shooting waterfalls, I tend to shoot them at around about 1 second. If I'm shooting the sea, it'll be anywhere between half a second and 2 seconds, depending on how fast or slow the waves are moving. The best thing with this is to go out and experiment and see what works for you. If you've ever been to a bike race or a Grand Prix or a Formula One race, you'll see photographers with really big lenses, but you'll also see them panning as the cars go past. What they're trying to do is obviously keep the car or the bike in the frame, but sometimes what they'll do is drop the shutter speed so the car or the biker will stay clear and all of the surroundings will blur. Again, this will give the sense of movement. I somehow talked my wife into coming out on the skateboard for this example. You want to put your camera in burst mode and start with a shutter speed of about 1/60th of a second. If you're using a wide lens, you can slow down the shutter speed. And if you're using a telephoto lens, you might need a monopod and a faster shutter speed. This does take practice to see what works for the subject you're shooting. I used a wide-angle lens, and when I dropped the shutter speed down to 1/15th of a second, everything started blurring. At 1/60th of a second, it was okay, but at 1/30th of a second, this is what gave me the nicer blurring in the background, with my wife still being relatively clear in the image. But again, what you want to do is practice and see what works and what doesn't. Start taking shots and then slowly drop your shutter speed until you get the surrounding blurring. If you drop your shutter speed too much, the subject will blur as well. To start with, you'll find that you'll be spraying and praying, like literally holding down your shutter, buzzing off a load of shots as the person or subject flies past you. Once you get used to it, you'll still be in burst mode, but you won't have to take as many images to get the shot you want. When you shoot at night, you can use a torch to light a subject in the foreground. There have been a few really creative photographers that have taken this to an extreme level by attaching a light to a drone and then lighting the landscape with that drone. With light painting, you can really create some unique looks. When you're out shooting on a new moon and there's next to no ambient light about, there's not much you can do to light the landscape, and if you do a really long exposure, it tends to be quite flat. So with light painting, you can really lighten up the foreground, and that's about it. Shutter speed is a really great tool, and when you start to use these slower shutter speeds, you can create some really unique looking images. If you want a more in-depth look at some of these techniques, click on the eye in the corner or the link in the description. This will take you to some of my other videos. As always, if you like what you see, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, give me a thumbs down, and for weekly tutorials, hints and tips in photography and videography, subscribe and turn on notifications.
Okay, so that's it. There is another video which is about 10 minutes long, and I'll put all these links onto the website under technical challenges. Okay, so we're just going to end off with some results from the Savas Digital Salon in 2019, some sport, color and monochrome. There's no captions or names on the photos, unfortunately, so I can't amuse you with my pronunciations, but thank goodness there's some weird music for you to listen to. Here we go. one last result. This is portraiture, colour. So there's quite a few animals, wildlife and birds in here. So very interesting. This doesn't have music, so you can listen to my voice saying the captions and the names. Lucky you. I just moved the mic. I hope you heard me. Okay, here we go. Okay, silver medal goes to George Barulha. I doesn't get time to read things. Silver medal. Karin Blauoog. And these are the comms. And Marie Duplessis, Too Precious. Beautiful lighting on that. Charlene Gerber, In the Moment. Charlene Gerber, The Age of Innocence. Charles Naudier, Early Morning Thirst. Donald Brotherston, In Deep Thought. Dr. P.J.S. Joubert, Red Knob Coot, Home Alone. Ian Taylor, Grand Hornbill Portrait. Wow, beautiful. Jill Sneesby, Caracal Portrait. Linza van Aswegen, BU. En Natalia, Slaapie in Papi se hande, Papa se hande. Marina Visser, Huisgodsdienst. Marinda Rousseau, Axinho. Sonia Grunbaer, Go Green. Alright then. Theo van der Merwe, Swart Kopreer. Acceptances. Alida Hein, Egyptian Beauty. Anita Bester, Dreamy. Anneke Smith, I don't know how to say it. Is that Afrikaans or English? Vincent, I don't know. And Marie Duplessis, Giant Spray. Same Ella Marie, Midnight Splash. Henry Vessel's Ballet. Antoinette Morkel, Dark Beauty. Bertie, but this is a Bart. Crown Crane, not our Bertie. Beverly Barnard, Trouwband Portrait. Brendan Miller, Portrait Cull, 0055. Sounds like a Terry caption. Karine Dubois, Ben in Sy Pipe. Karine Dubois, Bril en Hoed. Karine Dubois, Pretty in Pink. Oh, green. Pretty in Pink. Green. Green. Carla Sharp, Inked. Christopher, been here for a while. Chris, Life is a Beauty. Krista Strauss, Watching and Waiting. Wow, that's pretty, hey? Crystal Lagrange, Gatsby Girl. Claire Appleyard, Innocence Lost. Claire Light Up. Kobus Manders, Olifant Portrait. Kobus, Wie kyk vir wie? Good Venter, It's Tough. Carly Faree, Covered. Curly, fly away. Da 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 da. Corinne Ross, Checker Girl. Donnie Smith, The Sweet Mandolin Player. Dieter, surname, In Spotless Condition. Dieter, Mr. Condor, King of the Andes Skies. Jeez, that's ugly. Dr. B.A.S.J. African wattle plover, colourful. Okay. Elaine van der Toorn, thinking of you. Eric Bosman, it's not our Eric, this is a C. Yellow in the sky. Eye in the sky, not yellow in the sky. Eric Bosman, hyena. Oh, I need more coffee. Gabby Grohovers, beauty is transient. Gabby, the visitor. Garth McQuaid, portrait of a pelican. Wow, I love that. Gerard Teysa, Sunset Girl. That's so weird. Gerard, music hall ballerina. Gerrie Botja, ek onthou. Gerrie, Mr. Specs. Giuseppe Carbonato, big fellow. Gonnie Meiberg, speelse Carmine. Haig Fourie, hare in die wind. Do you think lots of Afrikaans people do photography? Annelies Smit, lace pixie. She's a vulture on her head. Henny Low, determination. That was a weird photo. Henny Low, uitdagend. Ian Taylor, southern yellow-billed hornbill. Jacqueline Kruger, can you hear me now? Jacqueline Kruger, indestructible. Jacqueline Kruger, leopard gaze. Jacqueline Kruger, looking sharp. Goodness gracious. Jacqueline, no, not Jacqueline, Jaco. The toy. Malahide perfection. I'm sure he means Malachite. Jaco again. Old one eye. Jaco. ZC portrait. I don't know what ZC means. Jacqueline Johnson, the car guard. Jacques, curiosity. Jacques, motherhood. Jacques! What's that? Oh, that's a very nice picture. Yappy, the model Xavier. Goodness gracious. Jill Sneesby, camel. What? Where's the camel? Oh God, that's weird. Johan, wind-blown model. Johan, Cape Robin. Johan, another Johan. Divan 4. Johan, the Red Madonna. John Hatton, brown eyes. Jorge Burralo, portrait of a cat bulbo. Joe Mullen, poor Teddy. Karine Berens, Leslie. Chris Fourie, Roodkop. Letitia Kenny, African beauty with Maasai jewelry. Letitia Kenny, Dream Girl. Letitia Kenny, portrait of Cassidy. Lenny Stupp, just a duck. Leon Pulser, I hate photo shoots. Leonie Hatton, Amelie. Lawrence Durant, brown-headed parrot. Lawrence Durant, roller portrait. Lucy Gemmel, Robin. En Italiaat, klein frustratie. And Lynette again, little lady in red. Mariana Visser, in gedachte. Mariana, Miss Pixie. Mark Preston White, fish eel. Mark Zunkel, ears up. Marlene Rood, Ankia 02. Marlene Sankia 02. Marlene Teenage Dancer 02. Martin Barber Superwoman and Martin Twirl. Michelle and Nell The Stare. Michelle Ann Whiskers. Michelle, it is time. Michelle, Sugarbirds in my hair. Okay. Michelle, write your own story. Natalie Bowden, serious photographer. Well, he's got a Canon. Of course he's serious. Neil Lombard, physique. Neil Lombard, pondering. Phil Hall, Keisha. Robin Dubois, Werner. Ron Reynolds, monkey portrait. Ronaldo in here for woo! Portrait color. Rose van Skalkbeek, Luna, look at me. Rona Ixtian, is that so? Sure. Shane Elsa, The Glare. Simon Fletcher, In Thought. Simon, not happy. Stephen Bergstaller, Naz Mallory. Sasa Pulser, Dog with Class. Theo van der Merwe, Slop Eend. Theo spotted hyena at the waterhole. Tokkie Labeskagni, Adoons 8730 HD. Tokkie Bush Chewing Gum 7520 HD. Tux Jonker, Hara Advent. Ursula Bauman, Happiness. Ursula Island Man. Lucas Cornier, Opa 40. Willem Nell, Red Tie. Billy Labeskagni, Legon Portrait 24681. Billy, that Russian look 9377A. Billy, Young Mel Leopard Staring 2329. Voter, Silver Stars. And that's it. So that's it, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. Just a reminder of the deadline on the 10th of September. That's next Thursday. I've just checked PhotoVault. It all seems to be up and running, but rather just be safe and wait as long as possible, like the weekend or after the weekend, before you submit photos. And it is your 3 monthlies. It's your 3 technical challenges, slow shutter, your 2 minimalisms, with your last chance for us to win the trophy. And then, of course, there is Wabi Sabi. Nothing is perfect. Ignore the rules. Play. 2 photos maximum. These will not be judged. And then, of course, your normal anything goes. No, that's rubbish. Hey, my computer. There we go. Wanted the logo. So thank you very much for listening, for watching, and stay safe, stay well. We will have another committee meeting towards the end of September, and then we will let everybody know about live meetings again. Thank you. Bye-bye.